Hello, hello, hello. Sorry, I'm always like, I'm here, you're here. Hello, everyone. Hello. Yes, you are perceived, JC Darcy, but I appreciate priorities first. Okay, no worries. My name is Fiona. I use she, her pronouns, and this is Too Long Didn't Read Tabletop RPGs, in which I spend hopefully an hour tonight. I don't want to be too late because it is Sunday, where I go through an RPG that has been randomly selected through the power of a random number generator and a very bad Excel spreadsheet. And we go and look at it, and basically it's for an accountability stream so that I can read through an RPG that I'm like, that sounded great, got a copy of it, then never looked at it ever again. But also as a way to practice me speaking aloud and sight reading and all that fun stuff. But also for you, at the viewers, listeners at home, and lurkers at home, whatever you'd like to call yourselves, for this particular, to have a listen in and go, oh, she's alright, that one. Or, I will play this RPG. I hope you are doing very well this evening. Yeah, subtitles are working, I'm coming through okay, music is on, I'm doing very well. I forgot I was going to do, I've been busy this weekend, a fun busy, and I'm sure you all have been fun busy as well. I did a 2-day improv class, or course, not class, not like, it was very fun, really enjoyable, and it was ran by my good friend Vinny, who is visiting from Montreal in Canada, and it was the first time I got to meet in person. We met each other through the pandemic, and so even now, still meeting people whose legs I have not seen, and it was really wholesome. And we're going for brunch tomorrow, so all fun stuff. Yeah, so I'm a little bit excited. It was a very good couple of days, and I've treated myself to my favourite, a brand we won't mention on here because no doubt nothing will happen if I do that. And so yes, and so what I try and do this fairly regularly because I do enjoy doing these streams, even if it's to nobody in particular. And yeah, I hope you are doing very well this weekend. I had a good weekend yourselves. Today, friends, we are looking at The Witcher Easy Mode. So this is the quick start for The Witcher RPG, which has been published by R. Talsorian Games Inc. Sorry, it's just because every time I read it, I'm like, Taldori, and I'm like, no, that's not it. Talsorian Games. And I'm going to be honest, again, my geek card is pretty rubbish at this point. I don't know much about The Witcher. I know a couple of friends who are absolutely obsessed with the video games. I've seen the first 2 series on Netflix, enjoyed them. The lore seems quite fun, but I've never read the books or played the video games. I hear the video games, like I said, really excellent. Actually, you know what? I just realised I met someone today, or over this weekend, as part of my improv course, who voiced a character in the Witcher games. I believe he called the character. He said the character he played was called Ram's Blood, a leader of the rebels. That means absolutely nothing to me, and I don't know which game it was. Hi Kev, how are you doing, my friend? Very well, thank you. I hope you're doing well as well. Thanks for joining us for this stream. Appreciate it, my friend. So that was that. So today we're doing Witcher. Now, easy mode. This was sort of suggested to me by one of our folks in the Discord because it is a quick start. Easy mode is just the name of the quick start for the Witcher RPG. And I thought, well, why not? Do we not check it out? Because, like I said, I don't really know the Witcher stuff that well, and it's one of those settings where I'm like, it seems very cool, but you kind of need to get in at the ground floor, right? It feels the same with Game of Thrones. Like, you either get in and go, this is great, and then read everything or watch everything around it, or not. And whilst I did that a little bit with Game of Thrones, I think you need to do the same with Witcher. I think one thing I will probably do after this, if I enjoy it, I'll go away and listen to the books on Audible or something like that, because that's what I've been doing currently. I'm actually listening to, for DM's Book Club, we've been listening to, we've been reading. I've been listening to the Legend of Drizzt novels. I've just finished the second one, which is called Exile, which is very good. But at the same time, I'm also listening to the Dragonlance novels as well, because I cannot penetrate those books for love nor money. But weirdly, I can listen to them on ×2 speed. So, there you go. And I have thoughts about them, but that's for a different stream. But yeah, maybe The Witch is going to be the one after that. But let's get away from Big Face Fiona and go to where you can get it. So you can get it on Drive-Thru RPG. I've put hopefully Nightbot is behaving itself now, and you can get a link to it. I'll do it again just for good measure. It is, most importantly, free. It is free to get on Draco RPG, which is brilliant. Obviously, you can tell I've already got it. But let's read it out. Let's see what we got. So, can I? Is it going to move? No, it's not going to move. You know what you did. There you go. Yeah. I don't know what I did, but who knows. Alright, so can you read that? Absolutely cannot. It's all go tonight. Oh, that is absolutely tiny writing. Just believe me that it's going to say this, right? Oh no. Oh, it's because I'm looking at the wrong screen. Oh, so professional. Alright, so the world doesn't need a hero. It needs a professional. The continent is locked in a brutal war, and monsters once again roam the land. A million stories of love, loss, revenge, greed, and glory play out against this grim backdrop. Which one will be yours? With streamlined and easy to understand rules, pre-generated characters. I will say I did misread that, and I thought that said pregnant characters for a second there. Oh dear, oh dear. And I'm ready to run adventure. This booklet provides everything a group needs to leap right into the dark and dangerous world of The Witcher. Remember, be careful, and remember, keep your wits about you and your sword sharp. Excellent. And you can see that there's some, the actual Witcher full RPG that is just under 20 quid, which is pretty good. There's also some expansions as well. I wonder if I can, let's go and have a look at the full reach of games, shall we? So there you go. So our Talsorian games do Cyberpunk Red, which has also been recommended to me as one to look at. And they also have a quick start guys. We've got Cyberpunk Red, Cyberpunk 2020, a couple of other ones here. So I assume they're all the same sort of version of Cyberpunk 3rd edition. Oh, you can't even see it. Never mind. But let's look at The Witcher though. What do we get for The Witcher? Not get the quick start. Oh yeah, is that the bottom? You know what it is? It's because probably I've hidden it. So yeah, so we've got quite a few expansions as well. The journal, I think that is just something that you can write. It's a supplement that gives you a number of monsters and intriguing plot hooks. Okay, so it's not like an actual journal. Sometimes you don't know. But there's a lot to The Witcher, so presumably expanding a lot more from the books rather than the TV show. But again, yeah, because it makes sense, because this is using that sort of the cover artwork, isn't it, from the books. I wonder when this actually came out. I look. This was added to the catalogue in 2018, so it's a couple of years old. This last updated, you can't see it. Last updated 2022. Sorry. So yeah, I'll just dive right in, because you know what, the world needs more grim fantasy RPGs, right? Right, let's get rid of this. Go away. Amazing. So yeah, so this is what it looks like. It is looking at a quick quick page count. Sorry, this is 32 pages. So a nice early number for or lower number for a quick start. There's obviously an adventure. We won't look through it because we don't want to spoil it for folks. And we'll go from there. I can see now this is sort of for free RPG day when that originally came out. It's pretty good. Oh no! I'm like, oh no. Double columns. What is this blue? Oh, don't know. But okay, we've got the credits on the left-hand side. I've got some map icons as well. Oh, so that's quite nice that they've actually credited those. But it looks a bit like a newspaper, doesn't it? All right. What's he got on the back? What's he got on the back of his head? I must say, it's quite high quality graphics. Okay, it's just got some symbols. I thought it'd be like a barcode or something. Anyway, enough of that. The Witcher role-playing game is set in a world of dark, mature fantasy where happy endings are rare and actions can have consequences, often swift and brutal. I will say this right at the beginning, so obviously your mileage may measure. I reserve the right to pronounce things however I like, because I'm absolutely going to get them wrong, especially because I've not read any of the Witcher novels or really watched any of the TV show. So just thought I'd put that out there before I would get into possibly quite a bit of lore stuff for this one shot. Oh, for this quick starting. So In the war-torn lands of the continent, murder, assault, and theft are a daily threat, and only the strong survive. Thieves run rampant, and mercenaries are as numerous as the doctors who heal them, or the priests who inter them. Only the bravest souls venture into the wilderness, where witches armed with razor-sharp silver swords hunt monsters, armed not only with tooth and claw, but magic as well. In the cities, the poor scramble to survive in filthy tenements, and the rich perch high above on the unstable towers of their power. Some advised by clever mages constantly looking for the best opportunities. Humans reign supreme, save for a few small communities. Once proud elves and dwarves are kept in hovels and executed daily. Well, that's not nice, is it? Often for crimes they have not even committed. Hatred and fear fuel this great blaze, and most continue feeding the fire till their last dying breath. There are no heroes, only people. Whether you're a hard-bitten mercenary who lives from job to job, never asking questions, or an idealistic bard travelling the land to spread some cheer and revelry in these dark days, you must fight if you want to survive in a world determined to break you. Though happy endings are rare, the darkness makes the joyful moments all the sweeter, and companionship is one of the greatest treasures you can attain. For better or for worse, this is your world. For players new to the Witcher tabletop RPG setting, here are some key points in the Witcher setting. Thank you. Hello, that's me. I do quite like that introduction though, like this bit. Though happy endings are rare, the darkness makes the joyful moments all the more sweet, and companionship is the greatest treasures one can attain. For better or for worse, this is your world. I quite like that as a little sentence. Or two sentences, right? Yeah, I would say that out loud. Ooh, more blue. Right, the conjunction. So, long ago, the conjunction of the spheres changed the world, or the way the world functioned, forever. Many different realms collided with one another, creating rifts through which hundreds upon hundreds of creatures spilled out. The reasonably mundane world was suddenly filled with creatures of all shapes and sizes, as well as a mystical force that came to be known as chaos, or magic. Unfortunately, with very little ability to manipulate the forces of magic and little preparation to fight the monsters that came through the conjunction, many races were plunged into a strange, dangerous, and uncertain time period. This uncertainty would last for many generations. Witches and monsters. Witches were created centuries ago to save humans from monsters. They were a brotherhood of mutants, rigorously trained for years and sent out every spring to wander the continent, hunting monsters and saving the local townsfolk from curses. While many people were thankful to see a witcher when they needed help, the bizarre and frightening nature of these monster hunters, as well as their secrecy and penance for neutrality in politics, often got them into trouble, and still does. This became especially true a few centuries into their existence. That is a massive, tab in, isn't it? Witchers' sole reason for living is to hunt monsters and to break curses. Their training makes them it makes them difficult, but it probably also makes them extremely efficient. In a way, they did their work too well. Witchers and their silver and meteorite blades made many species of monsters extinct. Monster species fell one by one, and monsters became less and less common. Witches began to lose their purpose. Even with very little work in monster slaying and curse breaking, witches still often refused to work as assassins or mercenaries. This aggravated the kings of the realms. Soon, they saw witches as more dangerous than helpful. By the 1250s, 1250s? Yeah. Monsters were so rare that many species had fallen into mythology. No more than fairy tales to frighten children. It was rare for anyone to see so much as a ghoul. let alone more dangerous beasts such as fiends or grave hags. Heck yeah, what the fuck is a grave hag? Sounds amazing. The common folks' fear transferred onto the mutants who had once been their protectors. One by one, the once proud Witcher schools were assaulted and destroyed by the same humans whom they protected. I'm going to say the Nilfgaardian Wars. Guardian Wars. It's like Leviosa, right? The Nilfgaardian Wars, also known as the Northern Wars, encompass several wars through which the country of Nilfgaard expanded north across the continent, absorbing many other countries and forming an empire that had no equal in the history of the known world. Unfortunately, Nilfgaard also became known for its brutality over the course of these wars. Technically, I'm sure that should have a comma there, the wars began decades ago with Nilfgaard's absorption of Mlak. Who knows what that word is? Mlak. I'm just going to say Mlak. Oh, there's things here. I didn't see those on that side. Okay. And Rowan, the two smaller neighbours. I'll read these in a second. However, most people point to the year of 1239, when Nilfgaard marched into Ebbing under the command of a usurpator who had killed the previous empire and exiled his heir, Emhyr? Whilst the empire had absorbed 5 countries by this point, the invasion launched a massive campaign that conquered 6 regions, nearly tripled the size of the empire, and brought them to the borders of what we know as the Northern Kingdoms. Oh my word. With Emhyr's Emrys restoration of the true emperor of Nilfgaard, the Nilfgaardian Wars that everyone talks about began. 9 years ago, in 1263, Nilfgaard invaded the country of Sintra. Sintra, I think I vaguely remember that from the show. Starting the First Nilfgaardian War. The combined armies of the Northern Kingdoms repulsed Nilfgaard, but after a short... the hell is that? Short interregnum? Ooh. Nilfgaardian subterfuge pushed the leaders of the Northern Kingdoms to secretly instigate the Second War in hopes of catching Nilfgaard before they were prepared. This backfired, yeah. And Nilfgaard conquered much of the north before another combined effort from the northern monarchs pushed the empire back. Now, just 3 years after the end of the Second Nilfgaardian War in 1272, the armies of Nilfgaard yet again stormed the northern kingdoms, having already weakened the north through sabotage and assassination. Things looked dark for the northern kingdoms. Okay. What is it? Wait, before I get to that, okay, luckily... Oh, the Witcher tabletop RPG only uses 2 dice. You'll need 10-sided dice, or d10s, and a 6-sided dice to play the game. In the world of The Witcher, the vast western coastline that as much of the franchise takes place on is only ever referred to as the continent. Thank goodness for me. Travel beyond the continent is difficult and dangerous, but there are several far-off exotic lands that the countries of the continent do trade with. Let's not call them exotic, shall we? Shall we just call them far off? That sounds good. Lore in the full game. If you aren't familiar with the world of The Witcher, you may be getting a bit overwhelmed by all the names. I mean, we've had like 3 names. Let's not get too up it. Overwhelmed by the names and dates and the historical figures. In the full game, there is an introduction that gives a summary of the history of The Witcher and a 32-page lore section to help new players acquaint themselves with the setting. Oh, that's very nice of you. Thank you. Oh, well, if I read the full book, I will read it. 32-page lore section. So, in The Witcher tabletop RPG, your character is the person you inhabit while playing the game. No shit. While it is often a good idea to start out playing characters that are similar to yourself, your character can just be about can be just about anyone you want. In the core game, there is a large section devoted to creating your character from the ground up, building their background, choosing their profession, race, and the like. For the purposes of this quick start, there are 6 pre-generated characters provided. Okay, so no character creation in this makes sense. Oh my lord. Okay, let's zoom out a little bit. So, this is how to reach your character sheet. Nice. Let's have a quick look. See over the top. Okay, very straightforward, very simple boxes, and all numbered, which is always good. Lusgar of Hague or Hag. So let's. Race is Witcher. Profession is Witcher. Okay. So let's go for it. So at the top here we've got race. So your race will grant your character 3 special abilities which are listed in part 9, as well as showing how people will interact with you. Number 2. Your profession determines your initial skill set and starting gear. 3. Statistics and derived statistics. Ooh, derived. Ooh. Your character's statistics on the left and measure ability in specific inherent traits. Derived statistics are on the right and measure more granular things such as health and stamina. Okay, I guess, yeah, I mean, I can see a box over here for that sort of stuff, but yeah, I guess it's how you derive it. Okay. And box 4, your health points and stamina are listed in the second time here, so you can make notes when you use stamina or take damage. And then we've got skill bases here. Oh dear. Your skill bases show what your character is trained in. When you want to perform a task, you roll 1d10 and add the skill base. Oh. Okay, I can see stuff like dodge and escape is 16, athletics is 14. Okay. Armor. Excuse me. Your armor is listed in the top 3 spots of this table. Oh, I can see we've got separate armors as well. Oh dear. Wait, I'm looking at the wrong one. Oh, that's quite cool. Almost feels like a character sheet. Then you've got, well, you know, like in a video game, you've got your hat, you got your top, you got your bottoms. Oh. The order is top to bottom is head, upper body, and lower body. Nah, top and bottom. That's what I'll call it. And you got your armor values, which weirdly is above the armor stuff. Maybe because you're looking at all this stuff, because it will change. If you want everything that changes within like the same top right hand corner, I guess. Your armor has values which reduce the amount of damage you take from attacks. Your stopping power is listed here with a space to mark damage against your armor. Okay. Weapons. There's your weapons. Ooh, non-lethal stuff. So weapons. All the weapons your character is carrying are listed in this section. This includes unarmed combat. You can find all the applicable information here, such as weapon accuracy, damage, and effects. Weapon accuracy is just a straight 0 there. But you got damage. Okay, and effects. Fine. And then we've got abilities. So all the racial abilities and profession abilities for your character will be listed here. Many of these will already be factored into your character sheet. Any changes to the statistics, skill base, etc. have already been factored in. I don't know where number 10 is. I presume it better not be on the back. That would be wild. But okay, so what we've got as abilities. Enhanced senses, witches take no penalty from areas of dim light and gain an inherent +1 to their awareness skill base, as well as their ability to track things by scent alone. Trying to understand this is like trying to pass a trigonometry class. Oh, who that is? No, well, we've only just this is the quick start for the Witcher RPG. That's why we're doing this quick start and not the full book. But so far, I don't feel like anything is too outrageous. If it's just a 1d10 and then you add the base skill, then I think that should be alright. Resilient mutations. After all, the mutations required to become a Witcher, they are immune to diseases and use mutagens. Unable to use mutagens. Okay, so that's more of a passive skill, perhaps. Dulled emotions. Witches do not have to make courage checks against intimidation, but they have a -4 to the empathy stat. This cannot bring the empathy below 0. Lightning reflexes, they gain a permanent +1 to their reflex and dexterity that they can raise. They can raise both stats to above 10. And then finally, we've got divining skill, so Witcher training. 9. When in a hostile environment or a difficult terrain, a Witcher can lessen the penalties by half their Witcher training value minimum of 9. So here is just half this will be 4, right? It can also be used in any situation that you can use monster law for. And lessen the penalties. Oh, interesting. Well, I'm sure we'll come into that in a second. And then I can see 10 here. Is that going to tell us? Absolutely not. 10 is a detailed list of possessions can be found next to your character sheet. If your character has magic, it will also be listed by the character sheet with all the a detailed list of possessions can be found next to your character sheet. If your character has magic, it will also be listed beside the character sheet with all the required details, including stamina cost, rage, and target. Oh, it's the stamina cost then your sort of magic points then. Okie dokie. I'm sure all the smart people that play this have all of it figured out. I'm talking to someone like me, someone who eats glue as a kid. This is all over my head. I'm trying to understand. Oh, well, speaking as someone who didn't necessarily eat glue as a kid, but also doesn't get RPGs straight away. I mean, we'll find out what the main task is. We're just looking at the character sheet just now, and it's broken it down to us in those 10 sections. But we'll get it. It's not important just now. I think the most important thing is just doing the this perform task thing, right? That's what we've sort of discovered so far. So just take it in though. Yeah, there's no pressure, and also it's free to look at. So it's pretty good, isn't it? Yeah, I think that's the main thing we got from this. And it's probably good to look at a character sheet that's already filled in. So this is just an example one as well. So yeah, so this is what a full character sheet would look like. I think I would split it down the middle because these things probably. This is the more important bit. This top bit here, and these are just something to refer to, right? What is cat poison though? Oh, cat potion. I thought it said cat poison. Oh, that's ruined everything. So we've got some examples of magic here as well. Oh, and there's another character. Oh, I see. So these are the character sheets, I'm guessing. And we'll go back up. So we've got Luskar of Hag. Ice. No, I'm gonna say this. Is Aislan Vale. They're a human mage. Orban, dwarf criminal. Definitely read that as Madrasa. As the curry. Ada of Van Ard. Who's that? Human who's a man at arms. Andreas the Red, elf guard. Casca Torma, who's a dwarf doctor. And then life path. We'll come on to that in a second. So instantly, again, I am not very au fait with the Witcher. You know, if these are particular characters from Witcher, I assume they're not. I assume they're just made up stuff. But it's quite nice to just see. I would assume gender neutral names. Oh, this is where the thing. There we go. So you could play any gender of Witcher or mage or criminal. So that's cool. I like that. What'd you get? 45 bits of health. And all your armor's pretty cool here. Alright, let's look at this life path then. So, oh, and I've also realised that it's sort of it's sort of almost like reflective. So like not reflective, but the layout isn't the same on each page for the thing. So like so if I go back to the top, sorry, jumping around a bit. So we've got a lot for the Witcher character, right? Because we've got possessions, but we also got a lot of magic as well. Then on the next page, we still have magic, but they've flipped it over. So this particular mage, it's the mirrored layout for some reason. Not entirely sure why. And then the criminal doesn't have any magic. So there's a big gap there, but it's reflected back over. And the same here as well. So we've got 2 magic users at the top, and then 2 presumably non-magic users. 3? 4. So there's 4 of these pre-generated characters. Fair enough. Alright, what is this life? My mom should have named me Orban. What a missed opportunity. Take the name you've got, mate. It's all good. This sample life path will give you a chance to add a background to your character, making your version unique and giving you more details to help you roleplay. In the full game, life path is incredibly varied with different homelands and a series of roles to determine special events in your character's life, and even a unique life path for Witcher characters. This small snippet here, this small snippet, sorry, is here to give you a feel of for how life path goes. Please start by rolling on the familiar fate table. Okay, so here. Ooh. So. Oh. Okay, so it's almost like choose your own adventure, but for rolling. Oh, damn it! I don't have any dice with me. Let's I'll go grab some. Okay, so what have we got? I guess it's going to be using d10s. Yeah, it is d10s. Okay. I like the random rolling. I like how it is all connected though. Like you don't just roll on one table. Presumably you're going to roll on quite a few of these. Right, let me find it. Okay, I've got a d10. So familiar fate. So at least some of your family's alive. Go to parental fate, or something happened to your family, and then roll on the table and then go parental fate. So I'm going to do this. So evens. It's the first option. So at least some of your family is alive. And odds, something happened to your family. I got a 3, so that is odd. Something happened to your family. So roll or below, and then go to parental fate. Okay. Same thing again. There's we've got 10 options here. The northern status. I also got another 3 then. I might change it. So your family house was cursed, and now either crops won't grow or spectres roam the halls. It became too dangerous for you to stay in this home. Ooh, I love that. Oh, 100% I'd go for ghosts and spectres in the home. Alright, parental fate. So your parents are alive. Go to family status. Something happened to your parents. Roll below it and then go to family status. Okay, so evens, they're alive. Odds, something happened to them. That is odds. Something happened to them. That's a 1, sorry, I rolled. Okay, so we've got another 10 here. Whoa, that's a 10 on the dice. So, one or more of your parents were kidnapped by nobles. Likely it was your mother who attracted the attention of the local lord or his son. Ah, that's... Okay, I understand why they've done that. I don't personally like that myself, but... Okay, I see what they've done. Alright, and then go to family status, which is here. Okay, so we've got 8 options total. Yeah, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, 7. Sorry, I can't count. Okay, interesting. I guess it makes sense to not use up too much of the page, but I wish the formatting was a little bit more even. Maybe make the text a little bit bigger. I know I can zoom in as well. Okay, rolled. That's the third 3 I've rolled into. Knights. Let's roll it in. Knights, you grew up in a manor where you learnt to be a proper lady or lord. Your fate was set from birth. Nice. Okay. Again, straightforward, quick character stuff that I don't have to think about. All done. That's a nice life path. Cool. All right. Okay. Ooh, this. Right. Let's start on the left, shall we? So, what is a skill base? So the main. Oh, yeah. Let me move this up the way. You guys can't see it, but it's in my way. In the main game, each skill a character possesses has a specific rank between 1 to 10. When making a skill check, players roll a d10 and add an appropriate statistic and skill to get the total. In easy mode, we've combined the statistic and the number into a single. The statistic and the skill into a single number known as the base skill to speed up play. Nice. And we've got a difficulty table. So difficulty, easy is 10, and then going up to 30, which is nearly impossible. But the average is around 14 and 18 challenging. There's some examples there, which is always pretty good. So, thank you. Thank you for picking up the Witcher tabletop role-playing game Easy Mode. The following pages will teach you more about the game and how to play it. Easy Mode is a simplified and streamlined version of the Witcher tabletop role-playing game, which is available online and from your local game source. Okay, so it's not the exact rules then that we will see in the core book. That's good to know that, I think. Just in case you feel like, oh, I want to get the full book, and you're like, oh, the rules aren't the same. What we're about to read. Sorry, that was a big crash then. So, what is a role-playing game? So a role-playing game, or RPG, is let's pretend with rules played by at least 2 people. I wouldn't call it pretend, but I understand what they're doing. It's fine. That hurts me slightly. I guess because let's pretend feels like it undermines the point of doing role-playing games, doesn't it? The GM Oh, the one person takes on the role of the game master or GM. Okay, so minus points for not having a cool title, like Witcher Master or something. The GM is responsible for presenting the world and the events of the adventure, portraying any characters not played by anyone else in the group, aka non-player characters or NPCs, and fairly adjudicating the rules. If this game were a play, the GM would be the stage crew and the actor portraying every role but the lead ones. I'd also say they're the director and probably the producer. They're everyone but catering. Everyone else at the table would be a player assigned one of the 6 pre-generated characters located on pages 5 to 10. Players will focus on playing their characters, aka their PCs, as the story unfolds and dictating their actions. When there's a question as to if an action performed by a PC or an NPC succeeds or fails, the GM will use the rules presented on the next 2 pages to help determine the outcome. Right, easy forward. To play easy mode, the group will need this booklet, a character sheet, which each player should be given one, writing implements or their digital equivalent, and dice. The Witcher tabletop RPG uses 6-sided dice, so d6s, and 10-sided dice, which are d10s. If the group doesn't have dice, a quick online search should reveal some websites that simulate dice rolling. Under most circumstances, the player rolls a single die. Sometimes the rules require multiple dice to be rolled at the same time and their results totaled together. When that's the case, the rules will list a number before the die type, so like 2d6, for example, meaning to roll 6-sided dice and add them together. If there is a number with a plus sign after listing, add that number into it as well. So, for example, 2d6 plus 1 means roll 2d6 dice, or 2 6-sided dice, and add them together, and then add 1. Something that's very important, that's something I always forget. The 0 on a 10-sided dice, or a sort of tens die, it means 10 and not 0. Very occasionally, the rules will ask for a percentile roll. When this happens, roll the d10s twice. The first roll is the 10s, and the second roll is the 1s, or the units if you're British. So, for example, a roll of 0 and 5, for example. 0 and 5. Wait, that's totally different to what it means. I know it doesn't know it is fine. Oh. Yes, that is right. I'm being an idiot because yeah. So roll. Wait, this. No, hang on. Wait. It does mean 0, doesn't it? Because here it goes. A roll of 0 and 5, for example, means the result of 5, whilst a 5 and 0 is 50. And the result of 0, 0 is 100. So yeah, no, that makes sense. But here, this is wrong, because if you have a 0 followed by a 5, it would be, yeah, okay. I've mucked myself up there. So the core rule of the Witcher tabletop RPG is the skill check. GM and players make skill checks for characters whenever that character's ability to succeed at a task is called into question. To make a skill check, roll a d10 and add the appropriate skill base listed on the character sheet. So, for example, we'll read out the examples for this one in case it's not obvious. Andres, the red, is attempting to wow a crowd with their lute playing. They roll a 1d10 for a 6 and add 14, which is their performance skill base. The total of the skill check is 20. If the character does not have the appropriate skill base, instead add the most appropriate skill. So, for example, for some reason, Luskar is trying to accompany Andres performing on the drum. They have no performance skill base, so the GM tells Luskar to roll a d10 and add his empathy of 1. Luskar rolls a 2, adds a 1 for a total of 3. So when performing an unopposed task, such as playing the lute or picking a lock, the skill check made against a number known as the DC. And sometimes the DC is provided by the rules or the adventure as listed as DC and then X, where X equals the number. Some other times the GM may determine the difficulty using the difficulty table. I assume we're going to look at that in a second. If the character's skill check is higher than the DC, the character succeeds. If the skill check is equal to or lower, they fail. Simple as that, really. Sometimes another character will directly oppose a character's actions. When this happens, a skill check is made for each character, then compared. The character with the highest result wins, which again makes sense. We've done this before. If the results are equal, the defender, the character who's reacting instead of acting, succeeds. If neither character is the defender, for example in an arm wrestling contest, the skill check ends in a draw, and the characters must decide if they want to continue opposing one another or to make another skill check. Modifiers. So there might be times when the GM decides factors beyond the character's abilities can influence a skill check. For example, a character might be trying to spot a thief in a room with dim light. When this happens, the GM will assign a modifier to the skill check in the form of a bonus or a penalty. So bonuses positively modify the skill checks, penalties negatively modify them. So they come in 3 levels. So we've got mild, which is a +1, -1, a moderate, which is a +3, -3, and a major, which is a +5, -5. So when a GM assigns a modifier, it adds or subtracts from a skill before deciding the result. Okay, that feels very straightforward. A GM can assign multiple modifications to a skill check. You can use the example modification table, modifier table, sorry, to help them decide if a factor warrants a bonus or a penalty. It can't cover every situation, but gives the GMs benchmarks so they can make calls on their own. I will say straight away, I realised these are like light and blue, and I went to click on it. Oh, does it want to take me? No, it doesn't take me there. I thought it was going to take me there. It did not. So this obviously is not backlinked, which is a shame. But again, it's only 32 pages long, and we're at page 13. A lot of it has been pre-generated characters already. Ooh. So when rolling a 1 or a 10 on a skill check, the die explodes, which means the dice is rolled again and modifies the results. So when a 10 is rolled, add 10 to the skill check, roll a d10 again and add that number to the skill check as well. If the second roll is a 10, add a 10 and roll again. Keep doing that till the new roll is something other than 10. That's pretty cool. I like that. I love exploding dice. That's quite fun. What about ones though? Oh, hang on. I don't have space on my bloody desktop. Okay. So when the result of a skill check roll is 1, roll a d10 a second time and subtract that value away from the skill base. Oh no, that's terrible. If the result is a 10, subtract 10 from the skill base and roll a third time, subtracting the value as well. Oh no! Keep going until the roll is something other than a 10. The skill check result can never be reduced below a 1. That is evil. I love it. That I absolutely love. Oh, you rolled a 1? Roll again. Don't get high. Yeah, that is cool. I've heard of exploding dice. I've never heard of that. Like, if you failed, you've really failed. That's great. Save. So when there's a chance a character might be stunned or might die, they must make a save check. To make a save check, roll a 1d10 and compare it to the character's save. If the roll is less than the save value, the check succeeds. If it's equal to or greater than the save value, the check fails and the character is stunned or dead. Ooh. Save. I'm just going to look this up. Where save is here. On this side. So we've got 5 there for Casca. 6 for Andras. Ada is 9. Oh, quite high for Ada. And at arms. 6 for the Orban. 7 for hang on. Aislinn. And Luskar is 7. I was going to say 3. Ooh. Oh, they're different. They're different on the character sheet. Look. We've got Save, Leap, Star, Wreck, HP, Vigor. Then this character has Vigor. We've got Vigor, Leap. Why is this different? Save, Leap, Star. Yeah, it's in a different order for some reason. Don't like that. Why is it in a different order? That first one is in a completely different order. Weird. But then these ones seem to be the same. Yes. Weird. Okay. Anyway, doesn't matter. Ooh, I went too far. Statistics. Okay, so inherent physical and mental abilities of a character. Intelligence, which is memory, perception, deduction. Reflexes, which is unarmed and melee combat and riding. Dexterity, ranged combat, sleight of hand and stealth. Body is strength and endurance. Speed, the distance a character can move in a turn. Empathy, forming social interactions and understanding others. Craft, creating and using things. Medicine. Will is matters of magic, intimidation, and courage. Luck is a pool of points players can spend. Each point adds a mild +1 bonus. You can raise their save by 1 for a save check. Vigor is how much a magic user can channel. How much magic a magic user can channel. We'll see it in a second. Save is used when making a save check. Leap governs special movement. Okay. Health points is obvious. Stamina, how much? Not obvious, I should say. How much lethal damage a character can take. And stamina is how much non-lethal damage a character can take. Oh, so it's almost like stress, I guess. Recovery, how much health points and stamina a character can recover. And then we've got skills represent a character's training. Listed below is each skill and specific. Well, how many skills we got? If I zoom out, oh, there's loads of them. Way too many of them. Gosh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Oh, it's human perception there. 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. Oh dear. I just saw seduction. 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38. 39. I'm going to say, I'm presuming there's 40. I may be just miscounting. Oh, that's way too many. Like, obviously, it's got where the skill which it comes from. Also, I can just see that there's that seduction, convincing others to get romantic. No, thank you. Not in my games. We're here to fight. It's mixed in proficiency with like staff and spear and swordsmanship and tactics. I wonder if it's taking this example from maybe the Witcher video game. Maybe these are all skills that they have in the Witcher game and that you can really specialize in stuff. Okay. Oh, we're going into combat. That is red. Uh-oh. Okay, well, we'll get through it. So, what does it say here? Opposition are monsters. Unlike players, NPCs and monsters which are controlled by the GM do not take fast or strong strikes. They have a rate of fire, so ROF, which shows you how many times they can use their attacks when they take an attack action. So, for example, on the monster's turn, the GM decides that the monster is going to use its claw attack action. The ROF is 2, so it makes 2 attack checks. Okay. If the NPC or monster has a rate FOR of 2, then they can make both attacks against the same target or split. Oh, alright. So combat in The Witcher is deadly, bloody, and punishing, just the way we like it. Will it be short though? That's my main question. You can go running into battle, hacking and slashing, but that likely won't help against anything tougher than a mugger in the local tavern. A tactical warrior will always make it farther than a savage madman. We've got actions, we've got attack actions, casting actions, item action, movement action, and skilled action. Use a skill to perform a task that can be accomplished in 3 seconds. Okay. So rounds and turns. So in combat in Witcher tabletop RPG, it breaks down into rounds with a time block of about 3 seconds. They want to be different from the 6-second lot, huh? During which each participant in combat has an act, has a turn to act. Sorry. Initiative. So the order of turns in a round is determined by initiative, where the players roll for their characters at the start of combat. To determine initiative, roll 1d10 plus reflex for each player character. The GM rolls for everyone else. The GM can roll for each participant they control individually, but may speed things up by rolling single initiative for groups of characters, such as squads of castle guards who will all act at the same time during a round. Once initiative is determined, combat proceeds. Each round, the participant with the highest initiative acts first, and then the next highest, and so on and so forth until the lowest initiative. If there's a tie, the character with the highest reflex goes first. Once each participant has acted, the round ends and a new round begins. Again, nothing necessarily new there, but it's good to know. A character can always choose to delay their turn and voluntarily lowering their initiative so they can act later in the round. However, the point at which they take their turn becomes their new initiative for the remainder of the combat. Okay, so during their turn, a character can do the following. Movement. So move up to a number of meters equal to their speed. So they're doing it in meters, not feet. That's interesting to note. Maybe that's a European thing, perhaps. Or a UK thing, I don't know. Action. Perform a single action as defined on the actions table. Okay, so no bonus actions or anything like that. Straightforward. A character can perform their movement and action in any order, but they cannot split their movement to move, perform an action, and move again. Okay, so you have to move. Right, yes, that's different in D&D, isn't it? So during combat, a character might be called upon to move in unusual ways or difficult circumstances. Unless they have an ability that rules otherwise, whenever a character has to move through unusual terrain, moving through thorny overgrowth, squeezing through a narrow pipe, etc., you know, the usual, or in unusual ways, i.e. climbing or swimming, they move for a number of meters equal to their leap instead of their speed. Okay. Jumping is an action and should be formed after the movement and not before. Why do... I guess because in D&D we have like, oh, you've got a climb speed and a movement speed. Why do you need a separate stat for that, though? Because, hang on, I want to go back up to these characters. Let's look at this one. So, where's their movement? What's their movement? Is it? No. So it's determined by, so if you get a 1d10 plus your reflex, that's your initiative. But speed, wasn't it? Speed is 8 here. But then leap is 4 here. Okay. What about the one at the top? Speed is 7, leap is 4 again. Speed is 6, leap is 3. Okay, so it's most likely the speed, so your leap value, your special movement, is going to be half of it. Speed 7, yeah, okay. I mean, sure, I guess. Question mark. I don't know. I think it should just be more difficult to do it, so maybe a disadvantage or something. But we'll find out if there's such things as disadvantages. So, extra actions. At the end of the turn, a player character has the option of spending 3 stamina points to perform a single extra action. Ooh. This extra action is performed with the moderate -3 penalty if it requires a skill check. So much like a regular action, extra action can be a skill listed on the action table. Excuse me. I just feel like that -3 is pretty brutal, isn't it? I guess it's supposed to be like, oh, you don't have time. It's 3 seconds, isn't it? But yeah, it's what I say is like, oh, it's a bonus action, but with disadvantage. Like, you know, if you're looking around the room to see something, you can use your main action to do that, or bonus action, disadvantage. The GM controlled characters and creatures cannot normally perform extra actions. Okay. Can you? A single. So you can't spend like multiples of the stamina to stack up. You can't just be like, blow your load of stamina, right? So weapon accuracy. So all the weapons in The Witcher have a weapon accuracy which shows how easy or difficult they are to wield. When attacking, you add or subtract the weapon accuracy to the weapon of your check. Yeah, so again, your attack modifier essentially. Oh no. Ranges. So, thrown and ranged weapons are only effective within a certain distance, listed by their range, and suffer a major penalty for -5 when targeting anything outside of that range. The maximum distance a ranged weapon can be used is double its listed range. Thrown and ranged weapons can only be blocked by utilizing a shield. And the attack and defense options that are listed here only give a taste of a layered tactical combat of the Witcher RPG. The full game adds several additional options, including full range of wrestling and special attacks, a parry system, and consequences when an action or defense goes truly poorly. That sounds like a lot more than we need, but okay. So when performing an attack action, a player character can do one of the following. A fast melee strike, so attack up to 2 times unarmed with melee weapon as a single action. Each attack requires a separate check but can be made against 2 different targets so long as they are both within range of the weapon. A fast range strike. Characters can only make one single attack with the bow or crossbow when using a fast strike, but they can attack twice with thrown weapons so long as the 2 weapons are readied, i.e. in their hands and ready to use. We've got a strong melee attack, so attack once unarmed or with a melee weapon as a single action against the target within reach. This attack is made with a moderate -3 penalty, but does do double damage. Ooh, nice. Characters that get strong range strike, Characters can attack with a bow or thrown weapon when using a strong strike, but not a crossbow. Okay. Unarmed strikes and melee strikes are made with the following formula, so 1d10 plus the appropriate base plus the weapon accuracy. And range attacks is exactly the same as well. Okay, there's a little bit of dicey stuff. I guess the fast and strong, to me, that makes me think of actually in the video games. You can have like the big like F-off like attack or the quick one as well. So that's quite cool that you can have different kinds, I guess. You only get double damage with the strong one. You don't get double damage. Wait, can attack with a thrown weapon when using a strong strike but not a crossbow. But why would we do a strong range attack when you don't get double damage? Apparently, I don't know. Defense actions, unless they are unconscious or physically incapable of moving, a character can always defend against an attack using one of the following defense actions. These actions defend against unarmed, melee, and ranged attacks, and against any spell or sign designated as direct or area. So physical and physical. Wait, so how... Oh, well, let me read them first. Don't rush off yet. So we've got a block, using a weapon, shield, or body part to prevent an attack from connecting. If the body part is used and the block succeeds, that body part is automatically hit by the attack and suffers damage. The armor applies to reduce it. Blocking with a weapon uses the appropriate skill base. Blocking with a shield uses the melee skill base. Excuse me. Blocking with a body part uses the brawling skill base. Moving out of the way of an attack, usually by only a few inches. Dodge uses the dodge escape skill base. Reposition, so rolling or leaping out of the way of an attack. If successful, the character not only avoids the attack, but moves a number of meters equal to their leap in any direction, which is not directly towards the attacker. And this uses the athletics skill base. Characters have 1 free defense action per round, which is usually taken the first time they're attacked. Okay, so it is like a reaction then. After that, they can take additional defense actions, but each beyond the first costs 1 stamina. Nice. Excuse me. If a character is unwilling or unable to take a defense action, the attacker must merely beat a DC 10 for their attack in order for it to succeed. Once the attack action succeeds, the attacker needs to determine where the blow landed. To do this, roll a d10 and consult the location's hit table. Oh my word. Which is here. Depending on where the attack hits, damage may be either increased or decreased. It is possible for an attacker to target a specific body location when attacking. This is known as making a called shot, and doing so imposes a penalty based on the location. If the called shot succeeds, the attacker does not need to roll for the determined hit situation. Right, so they could be like, I want to go for the head. It will be a -5 to my d10 roll plus skill base. If I get it, I'll get a +3 damage on that. So most of the time it would be the upper body though, which is quite interesting. Okay. Ambushes. So to successfully ambush an enemy, attackers must first be unnoticed by their targets. The attackers must succeed at a stealth skill check opposed by the awareness skill check of any potential targets. Members of the ambushing party can make a single attack action against any target whose awareness check was lower than their stealth skill check. This free attack action is made with a major, so +5 bonus, though the target can still use a defense action to avoid the attack. Once all the ambushers have made their free attack action, everyone should roll initiative and the first round of combat begins. Oh, we're still going. Hooray! My favourite. Modifiers in combat. So there are several factors that can influence an attack or defense action. GMs can use this table here, the example combat modifiers, to help them decide if a factor should impose a penalty or award a bonus. It can't cover every situation, but gives the GM benchmarks to make calls of their own. Okay, so we've got two. Okay, so we've got a plus and a minus mild, a plus and minus moderate, and a plus and minus major. One special modifier of note is the penalty from multiple enemies. The target suffers a -1 penalty when taking a defense action for each enemy beyond the first, which is in melee range. It's harder to dodge when you're in a crowded setting. That does make sense, but oof, gosh. So at this point, my head is going. No, thank you. Damage types. So they can suffer 2 damage types. Lethal damage lowers the health pool, whilst non-lethal damage lowers their stamina pool. Unless otherwise noted, damage is lethal. Unarmed combat damage is non-lethal, as are some spells and creature abilities. Once the attack hits, the attacker needs to figure out how much damage was done. The following applies to both lethal and non-lethal. Step 1. Roll the dice and add body penalty or bonus. Each weapon, spell, or ability can cause harm as a damage code in the form of XDY, where X is the number of dice rolled and Y equals the die type, or that type of die which is to be rolled. To determine the amount of damage inflicted, roll the damage code. And the total. Good one, Fiona. Almost there. And total the dice. Roll the damage code and total the dice. Some damage code also have a +Z at the end. It's very similar to what we were doing before. Attackers making melee or thrown weapon attacks also add a modifier to their damage roll based on their body as marked out on the character sheet. Okay, so again, very much like D&D. Step 2. Add silver damage if applicable. Silver is like poison to monsters, which is why most witches carry a silver sword. When determining damage against a monster by an attack made with a silver weapon, the attacker rolls a number of extra die as indicated in the weapon's description and adds it to the total determined by step 1. Step 2. Factor in the strong strike multiplier. If the attack was a strong strike, multiply the damage if total calculated so far by 2. Don't forget armor. Combat can turn deadly quickly, which is why most characters are expecting it wear armor. All armor has stopping power or SP rating. Subtract the SP from the armor the target was hit, the total so far. If the SP reduces it to 0, stop there. The armor repels the attack. Okay. Straightforward so far. It's just there's a little bit wordy, isn't it? In the full game, many weapons have special effects and change how they operate. In easy mode, we only have 2 basic examples of armor piercing, bleeding, long reach. So armor piercing, ignore the damage resistance except for a monster's resistance to non-solid weapons. Okay. When this weapon deals damage to a target, it has a percentage chance to inflict bleed condition. Oh, I like that. Long reach weapons can also target creatures that are 2 meters away from the attack. So you don't have to be all up in their face. It is always possible that a character might fall off a roof, or be dropped by a flying enemy. Characters fall at a rate of 30 meters per round. Bloody hell. And if they hit the ground or roof or what have you, they take 1d6 lethal damage to the upper body for every 2 meters they've fallen. Wait, so if it was 30 meters, that would be 15d6, right? Holy cow, that's ridiculous. I mean, just don't fall 30 meters, right? Armor reduces the damage, but only after totaling the dice. Catch a convenient ledge or rope or awning requires an athletic skill check against DC of 15. Oh, is it still going? Hang on. Oh, crafting GM advice. Okay, we'll get there. I'm just like, oh, I hate this. No, Doctor, no problem. It's quite possible that your body does not include Casca, the Doctor, as a playable character. In that case, the GM has a few options when it comes to treating critical wounds. They can include Casca as a GM-run character who travels with the party. They can live in the nearby village, and his services can be engaged for the cost of 25 crowns per patient seen. Bloody hell. Expensive. And the GM can allow first aid skills to be used in place of healing hands skill to treat a critical wound, though actual healing does not begin until a character sees a real doctor. And then there's a critical wound thing there. 555. Did I look at this? Yeah, sorry, it carries on. So step 5, hit locator modifier. So long as at least 1 point of damage penetrates the target's armor, multiply that damage calculated thus far by the modifier of the hit location, rounding down to a minimum of 1. So that's times a half for lower body, times 1 for upper body hits, and times 3 for headshots. So if you do that, so you do the thing before it has to get through the damage. Excuse me. Oh, dear, oh dear. Step 6. Calculate in the resistance and susceptibility. So some characters are specifically susceptible to or resistant to specific attack types. All monsters, for example, are resistant to everything but fire and attacks waged with silver weapons, whilst drowners are specifically susceptible for fire. If a monster is resistant to attack type, then its attack has penetrated it, and the attack has penetrated its armor, multiply the damage as calculated thus far by a half. If they are vulnerable to attack damage, and it penetrates the armor, instead multiply it by 2, and then apply the final damage cost. God, that's 7 steps to work out bloody damage. Armor damage. Anytime a character's armor is penetrated by an attack, it suffers damage. This applies to both worn armor and natural armor. When the attack penetrates the armor, reduce the SP of the armor by the hit location by 1. Okay. When the SP of a piece is 0, it breaks and becomes completely useless. Critical wounds. If a character's attack skill check beats their opponent's defense skill check by 10 or higher, they score a critical wound. A target suffers a critical wound, takes 5 points of bonus damage, which the armor does not stop, and suffers an additional effect based on the hit location as noted on the critical wounds table. These effects are ongoing and last until the critical wound is fully healed. Even when treated by the doctor, the critical wound effect only lessens instead of vanishing entirely. Oh wow, look at this. These ongoing effects we've got here. Oof, brutal. Stabilization. So a character reduced to 0 stamina gains the unconscious effect. Characters reduced to 0 hit points gain the dying effect. Both effects end when the affected character is stabilized. And to stabilize the patient, another character must succeed on a first aid skill check. 10 for unconscious, 15 for dying. If the skill check is successful, the condition ends and the affected character's stamina or HP is brought up to 1. But what about healing? I hear you cry. So stamina recovers at a rate equal to your recovery per hour spent resting. This rate is halved if any part of that hour is spent engaged in strenuous activities such as running around, manual labor, or combat. To recover health points, a patient must first be treated with a DC 10 first aid skill check. After the check succeeds, they regain a number of hit points equal to their recovery per day spent resting. Performing strenuous activity for even part of the day halves this rate. If a doctor's healing hand skill is used to begin treatment instead of first aid, the patient recovers an additional 3 health per day. Oh, this is getting too complex. Like, just keep it simple. Just keep it as like first aid. Doesn't matter if that if it's interrupted. That's fine. It's still only I guess unless they're so trained in it. And then the healing hands thing, that's quite nice, but at the same time, just keep it simple. The healing critical wound. So to heal a critical wound, it must be first seen by a doctor. The doctor must spend 4 full rounds performing no other action except treating the wound and succeeding at a DC 15 healing hands check. If the doctor succeeds, the wound is treated and the patient now suffers from the treated penalty and not the untreated penalty, which we saw up here. Oh dear. Once the critical wound is treated, it heals in a number of days as dictated by the critical wounds healing table. It doesn't say there, I presume it's on the next page. There you go. Oh, no, this is abilities and checks, never mind. Certain abilities, spells, and other factors can inflict effects on characters who have ongoing consequences beyond damage. The effects of the same type do not stack on the character. Okay, great. So we've got bleed, blinded, dying, classic, fire, freeze, poison, prone, stun, and unconscious. So what's that? That's 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. Some very good descriptions here. Alright, inflicting effects. So in some cases, an effect is automatically inflicted on a character. Some effects are automatically triggered when certain events, such as reaching 0 hit points, occur. In others, there is a percentage chance that the effect will be inflicted. When an attack or spell or hazard indicates a percentage chance of an effect being inflicted, the player or GM should make a percentile roll. If the roll is above the percentile chance, the character is not inflicted with the effect. So, for example, here, it's where it rolled low. So, for these ones, you'll want to roll high and get over it, rather than rolling low and getting under it. But stun is a special case, of course. If an attack, spell, or ability has a chance of inflicting a stun, the character must make a save check first, and if they fail, they are affected by the stun. Stun do. Acting becomes difficult either for emotional or physical reasons. While stunned, you cannot move or take an action, including defense actions. To end this effect, you must take either a full turn to make a save check or be fully struck by an attack action. Oh, that's interesting. So you don't just stay paralyzed. As soon as you're struck, that ends the condition. Alright, bedtime achieved. I have returned. How are we getting on? We're doing okay. You've just arrived in time for us to finish combat, JC Darcy. It feels a little bit waffly, I'll be absolutely honest. But I like the main mechanic of like just a D10 plus skill base, which is fine. This is like, oh, here's some extra stuff with the critical wound. Like and the treated untreated stuff that is interesting to show that you don't just heal straight away. But I'm a bit like, there's some of it I'm like, okay, I was with you at the beginning, and now you've gone into a little bit too much detail, which is, again, who's keeping track of this? Probably me, right? God knows what. Alright, next chapter is magic. We've got magic, and then we've got 2 pages, thankfully, and then we've got crafting, we've got GM advice, which we'll probably leave, to be honest. Although I do like monster. Monster aren't the only evil. Monsters, probably. And then it goes on to the quick start adventure, which we're not. That is fine. So let's look at magic, which we've got in lovely, a bright red / pink / fuchsia, I'm going to say. So, firstly, what does it say here? What about priests? What about them? Priests in the world of The Witcher can also cast magic, usually in the form of invocations. Priests generally believe that the gods have granted their magic, whilst mages believe priests are deluding themselves. Priests weren't included in the easy mode, but they are available as a profession in the full game. There's always someone that's like, I want to play this. The focus effect. Weapons or items with the focus effect allow the wielder to lower the stamina cost of any spell they cast by the amount listed in parentheses. This cannot lower the stamina cost below 0. So, magic. Ever since the conjuncture of the spheres, certain people have been born with the capability of tapping into a strange force and bending it to their will. This force is known as the primal chaos, and it is drawn from the 4 elemental planes that encircle the globe. Those with a strong connection to the primal chaos usually receive an education in methods of utilizing their power and are collectively known as mages, although they might have a variety of other names such as witch, sorcerer, or magician. That's what the female lead is, isn't it? Whose name? Yennefer. Yennefer. Right. See, I did watch the TV show. Most magic performed by mages is in the form of spells, a complex binding which draws power from the elemental planes and focuses it through the mage's body and shapes it into a specific effect. As part of their training, witches learn to cast signs, a less potent and more versatile form of magic. For the purposes of this game, the procedure for casting signs and spells is the same with one key difference, as noted in the stamina and vigor threshold sections. Okey-dokey. Casting spells. First, a spell can be cast by either as an action or as an extra action, which means it is possible for a magic user to cast more than one spell in a single round. Checks to cast spells are made using the following formula: 1d10 plus spell casting skill base. We'll say saying skill base after everything is like, oh, just say modifier. And, wait, have I? Oh, I don't know. For some reason I thought that I was a bit weird. No. If the magic user's player beats their target number, the spell is successful and the effect as listed in the spell description occurs. If the magic user's player does not beat the target number, well, the spell fails. Wah, wah, wah. Target numbers. So the target number for a player must roll against depends on the type of spell. So we've got direct spells and we've got area spells. So direct spells affect specific targets in an adverse way. When they're marked direct in brackets physical, can be defended against using any defense action. Otherwise, the specific skill check needs to defend against the spell as noted. Okay. Area spells fill the area with an effect. Any target in the area when the spell is cast, or who enters the area while the spell is active must make a skill check. Spells marked with area in brackets physical can be defended against using any defense action. Otherwise, the specific skill check needed to defend against the spell is noted. Okay, why? Is there a reason that will they be mental? In the sense of like, it will be targeted, spells marked as area in brackets physical. I mean, is the other type mental, or is it just like, oh, these are more specific than anything? Spells with a defense of none cannot be defended against. To succeed, the caster need only make a spell casting roll and not roll a 1, which we know is bad critical fail. Okay. Stamina and vigor threshold. So casting spells, it isn't easy. Mages draw primal chaos through their bodies, power spell and this tires them. Each spell has a stamina cost. Whenever a magic user casts a spell, they remove a number of points from their stamina equal to their spell's stamina cost. This limits how much primal chaos a magic user can channel through their body, represented by their vigor threshold. If the total stamina cost of all the spells cast by the magic user during a single round exceeds their vigor threshold, they take damage equal to their health points. Ooh. A magic user loses 5 health points for every point of stamina cost beyond their vigor threshold. Nice. So, well, read out an example, shall we? I'm going to say this name wrong. I said it. Aeslin has a vigor threshold of 5. And on her turn, she casts Earthen Spike, which has a stamina cost of 5 to attack an enemy. She then spends 3 stamina points to take an extra action to cast Dormian's Fog, which has a stamina cost of 3 to hide herself. The total stamina cost for these spells is 8, which is 3 higher than her vigor threshold. So she takes a total of 15 health point damage for channeling too much energy through her body too quickly. Whoa, that's brutal. But it kind of makes sense, again, from what I remember from watching the Netflix series, that there's a point where Yennefer, minor spoilers, I know, I think at the end of season 1, I want to say, she spends so much of herself that she loses her magical powers. So I guess, and also really hurts herself. So that's, I do like that idea that you can overextend yourself, but it damages your body because your bodies are weak and fragile, and the primal chaos will just rip into them. So, unlike spells, signs have a variable stamina cost. The Witcher can choose to spend between 1 and 7 points of stamina when casting a sign, and the more stamina spent, the stronger the effect. They all have range and duration. But unlike a main weapon, a spell cannot affect the target beyond its listed range. Yeah. I quite like that. Interesting to have a magic system where magic takes a physical toll on a mortal body. Toll, not roll. You autocorrect. Yeah, like from what I know of The Witcher, it's quite thematic in that sense, isn't it? That's quite cool. Here we go. Some spells are marked area. Area spells either fill a cone with a designated width at its widest point and the caster as the origin point, or it fills a circle as a designated width, which center point is designated by the caster within the spell's range. Which centers on a point. So you can't be like, I'm at the top of the circle and spreading it out. Okay. Spells with a duration of immediate effect, take effect right away and then end. Spells with a random duration, for example 1d10 rounds, bloody hell, require a dice roll to determine how long it lasts and end on the end of the magic user's turn on the final round. Spells with a duration of active require additional stamina, oh my goodness, to be spent each round to maintain whilst it ends. Oof, brutal. Stamina must be spent at the beginning of the magic user's turn and count towards the stamina total cost when it comes to the vigor threshold. No other spell can be cast whilst the magic user retaining an active spell, but it can be dropped anytime without taking action. I was just about to ask that whether you could stack things up. Really not. Critical wounds. Spells with a physical component, such as a spell which sets the target on fire, classic, or hits them with shards of earth, can cause critical wounds if the spell casting check exceeds the target's defense action by a high enough amount. See combat, so 10, I think was what it said there. And a fumble. If a player rolls a 1 when making a spell casting skill check. Oh, we've not followed the capitals there. The magic user not only fails at casting a spell, but suffers harm. The GM should ask the players to make a second D10 roll and then consult the following table and apply an effect based on the result. Oh dear. What have we got? So we've got dealing amount of damage equal to the count stamina cost. It doesn't negate it with the armor. In addition to the... Oh my god, it's stacked. This stacks. Oh no. In addition to the above damage, you suffer an effect depending on the elemental type of the water. So the earth would be stunning you. Air would you be not prone. And oh no. For fire, you're set on fire. Water, you're frozen. Mixed element, you... Oh my god. I love it, but also, bloody hell, that's brutal. And then on top of that, there is an explosion of energy outwards from the magic user, and anyone within a 2-meter radius also suffers an amount of HP equal to the damage stamina cost of body. Whoa! I like that on the fumbles. Again, 3 examples that they stack. 3 consequences and they stack. Amazing. Okay, we're almost there. We've got crafting, our favourite thing in all the video games. Although I do say, it says crafting in the main game. So because of easy mode, we simplified the crafting process. Hooray. In the main game, crafting can be an important, if even vital part of any adventure. There are rules for crafting almost any weapon or substance, usually at 1/3 the purchase price of the item. There are also rules for gathering components from the wild using the wilderness survival skill to make it even less expensive. Lastly, there is an entire profession, the craftsman, dedicated to crafting. Whilst any character with the right skills can craft, a craftsman receives special perks when making items or mixing substances. So, craftsmen are hardworking and often hard-worked in professionals. All around the continent, people need things fixed or need someone to build something for them. That's me. Armies and villages alike need craftspeople to create weapons, farm tools, jewelry, barrels, alchemical concoctions, and more. Free PCs in the easy mode possess the necessary skills for crafting. Casca, Torma, there's no really comma there, and Luskar each have each have the alchemy skill, which can be used for creating alchemical substances and witcher potions, while Ada of Bandar has a crafting skill, which can be used to create anything from a chair to a sword. Please create more chairs for me. I wish to use them as improvised weapons. The process for using either skill is the same. Casca? Torma. Maybe I've got that wrong. Maybe Torma is a different name. Casca and Luxon and Ada. Yeah, sorry, I got more. Each start off with a single formula, all of which is listed below. Okay. Oh no. Oh, okay. Wait. Okay. When I thought it said formula, I thought it was going to be similar to the ones before, which is like here's a skill check, 1d10 plus skill check, whatever. So I realized that these are the special formulas that you get. This is what you have. You get ammunition, Adas. Huskar is swallow potion, whatever that is, and clotting powder. Ugh. I'm guessing that might be because they are a doctor, aren't they? Huskar. It's very video gamey, isn't it? And you'd go out into the wild and you'd find these particular things. Yeah, that's what happened in my Horizon Zero Dawn games. Went out and picked flowers for most of it. I enjoyed it. Okay. So step 1, the diagram/formula. For anything a craft person can make, there is a diagram or formula which explains the ingredients and method of assembly. The craftsperson must have the proper diagram formula in order to make a specific piece of armor, shield, weapon, or alchemical substance. Then step 2, the components. We have wood, steel, ghoul liver, all are useful components. Every diagram and formula sheets list the components needed to make the item in question, as well as how much those components cost. Okay. And then the check. So once the craft person has their components and access to the proper crafting tools, they begin crafting. Each diagram/formula lists how long it takes to craft an item and the DC the players must beat on an alchemy or crafting skill check. If the player succeeds at their skill check, the components are used up and the character has made the item in question. If they fail, the components are still used up, but their character has only created a mess. Oh no! They can try again, but only after they purchase additional components. Okay. I quite like that whenever. Quite like that where reading never-ending combat subset rules takes an actual physical toll on Fiona. Yeah, so yeah, you tell me. I was like very bubbly at the beginning, and I'm like, oh. We finished combat. I'm gonna sorry. Let me know how to pronounce your username. The person on YouTube. Sorry, I want to say Mux, which doesn't help me at all. But yeah, it absolutely. I hate it. But this is crafting, and as we all know, crafting is pointless. Nobody cares about crafting. All right, let's have a quick look at the GM's guide before finishing. So when running a Witcher game, there are a few things to keep in mind to get your players in the right mood. This brief snippet of the Game Master's guide will give you a few of those basic concepts. Life's hard. Enjoy it. By now you've probably noticed that the Witcher RPG is fairly ruthless. I mean, it's pretty thorough about stuff, isn't it? The gear is expensive and life is cheap. Well, that's a good point, actually. It doesn't say. How? So it takes that amount of time. I remember now. That's what I was trying to look for. Anyway, ignore me. It's deadly and unforgiving. The economy is such that a simple throwing knife costs you an arm and a leg, and you may lose an arm and a leg getting the money to buy that throwing knife. The world is hard-edged and rough, but this makes the happier moments all the sweeter. After a long day of death and destruction, an almost normal home or genuinely loving embrace can be the greatest reward in the world. Where's the money? Oh, hey, Octopus, how you doing, my friend? How you doing? You just caught me at the end of going through the Witcher easy mode. So we're almost finished there, but it's nice to have you here. Thanks for joining, my friend. How you doing? So after a long day of destruction and yeah, you said that. The brightest of the few shining lights in The Witcher are friendship and love. These two make the grim slog through life worth it. I thought The Witcher would all be about monster hunting rather than friendship and love, and maybe I've got it completely wrong. Good, good. Just chilling at the moment. Oh, amazing. Oh, hello, Crafty Golfer. I see you peeking in at the end there. Hope you're doing well, my friend. As a GM, it's important to remember that whilst the world of The Witcher is dark, grim, and a deadly place, achieving happiness is possible. Players can find someone to love, settle down, and have a happy family, but it doesn't come without a price. Happiness should always be out there for your players to reach for, and if they get it, it doesn't mean the game ends and nothing more can be done. Once you've achieved happiness, you need to protect it. You have to defend everything you care about from the ravages of this war-torn world. Even if your players discover happiness, make them fight for it. Have monsters attack their homes. There's a big gap there. Soldiers try to take their families. Make it clear that they can have a happy life, but it won't be without cost. No question is easily answered, so the Witcher world is not a nice, neat little world, where the right answer is obviously apparent the minute the question is asked. In many cases, there isn't even a right answer. Players must often choose between the two answers that seem equally right and wrong. They may make mistakes that will haunt them for the rest of their lives. The world of The Witcher can be messy, difficult, and bloody. Never let your players get off with an obvious answer to a difficult question. Make them compromise. If your party gets caught up in discussing the ethical ramifications of what they're about to do, then you've done a good job. Definitely, that really feels, from what I've briefly seen of the series, that whole section, that really just defines it about like, oh, is this a good thing that we're doing? And never really knowing if you are the bad guys or not. Yeah, I pretty much appreciate that. The power of friendship will always prevail. In The Witcher, well, I expect this of My Little Pony stuff, Octopus, but not here. The monsters aren't the only evil. In The Witcher, the monsters aren't the only things that you have to worry about. Between bloody power struggles, hate crimes, oh dear, and general unrest, people of the continent can just be as dangerous as the monsters. In some ways, even more deadly. At least, with a monster, you know where you stand. You're not safe within the walls of a city. There may be guards and civilized people surrounding you. You may be behind a meter-thick stone walls guarded by archers, but watch your back, because there's someone in every hamlet willing to slip a knife between your ribs for your money, for revenge, or just because they don't like you. Oh. Hate crimes are a bit too close to home in a tabletop RPG game. Yes, no, I agree, Optimus. I will say this, again, not excusing this game at all, but it came out... When did it come out? Let me just double check. Let me double check. I think it was 2016? 2018. Oh, I've looked at the wrong... 2019 when it came out, this. And yeah, there's no content warnings or anything like that in this quick stuff. So and it did have a bit of lore about like how elves and dwarves would be executed. I assume that's what happens in the Witcher stories, but again, yeah, your mileage may vary. I don't like that term either. I agree. Not for me, thanks. Not in my games. And then it goes on to the quick start adventure with an absolutely terrifying individual there. So, let's go back and discuss what we think about The Witcher Easy. Overall, some of it I really do like. So this idea that it's D10, using different dice to the D20, so that's something that's really interesting. Adding the skill base and then comparing it to a target number seems very straightforward. We've got that. I will say, just going quick think, in terms of like readability stuff, I'm always a big fan of like columns, like almost additional things to think about, which is quite good. I thought the quick lore at the beginning helped me get into it, and of course, there wasn't many difficult pronunciation stuff to come into it. Who's ringing me? No one's ringing me. That's great. Sorry, my phone was going. Then we had these pre-generated character sheets, which seem very complicated, but actually they're okay. So if we look at this one again, the actual Witcher one we've got here, I find it odd that this is different. This is different to the next one for whatever reason. like our vigor's at the bottom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 7, 2, 4. No, 2, 4, 6. We've got 6. Also got 6. It's for whatever reason between the Witcher sheet and then these sheets, it's different for some reason, and the same here as well. I don't know why that's the change there. I also don't particularly get why these. I guess because it's the way it's printed, so the idea that you print these all out and you could flick them back and forth, perhaps. Oh, yeah, I'm coming, Jay. Don't worry. And so I don't get why it's a different structure. And then obviously there's bits missing because some of these characters aren't magical. That's fine as well. But again, why would we just keep it simple? Keep it the same structure, because otherwise it's a little bit confusing if you're trying to find the same thing on different character sheets. The life path stuff, I was having a quick look at that was quite cool. I like the idea of you roll from one table to another to another to another. I thought that was quite cool, and using D10s. And then the basic seemed easy enough. We've got the difficulty table. The successes, that was the thing I like exploding dice. And the fact that you can explode dice on the D10s, so that success is excellent, but if you rolled a 1, then you'd roll the next dice, and then you'd minus that from your skill base. And if that was a 10, you keep going, you keep subtracting. That was pretty good. I really liked that. I think that was a really cool mechanic. So not only could you be successful, but you could really fail badly. Combat stuff, as someone pointed out in chat, but it's supposed to be hard. I don't understand why your movement speed, you have to have a separate thing called leap. I don't understand why you have to have 2 separate ones. Because ultimately, difficult terrain and all that sort of thing, it was just half your speed. Why do you need a special way of, I don't know, putting it on your character sheet? You should just be like, half your movement, I think. I personally. Weapon accuracy makes sense. Actions, etc. I did quite like them separating out to fast and strong attacks, so that made it feel very video gamey, perhaps. I will say that these individual rules for stuff, so like the hit location, minusing penalties and all that sort of thing, it's just a little bit, I think it's a little bit too detailed for me. Again, I can imagine if I was playing it through, someone taking me through it, that would be quite interesting. But I think the way it's sort of structured just now, that's impenetrable for me. So I definitely would need a reference sheet as if I was the character here. I like the idea of cold shots, because you have it here, but also rolling randomly as well. So I like both of those. I think that's quite interesting. The defense, actually, I think it needs to say instantly straight at the top that it is a reaction, and you always get 1 of some sort. Although I'm not sure about the block stuff, to be honest with you. Yeah, damage modifiers. Yes, I get it. Yeah, the fact it takes 7 steps to work out, as from rolling the dice and rolling to hit, and then 7 steps later you then give the damage. Ugh, bit hard. Add silver damage. Yeah, like the factors. Where is it? Is it on the next page? Yeah. So depending on where you've hit as well, you can increase the damage by a lot or halve it a lot as well. I like that, but again, it needs to be put clear. I think maybe it's just a structuring thing that I'm struggling with. Critical runes. Yeah, I guess I like that you can't heal from them straight away, because it shows that there's an ongoing thing that you need to be treated per se. And I think whatever, if anything, I assume it doesn't always go fully away, but maybe it's that sort of thing where you're pushing your luck, your time is running out, perhaps. Effects are as they are. I did quite like that stun one though, that it's you are stunned until either you do a full turn to make it save, or you're successfully struck by an action. I thought that was quite good. Magic using your stamina to cast spells, because you have these 2 different things, and pulling from that pool, and then if you take more than that threshold each turn, you get physical damage, 5 points for every 1 point of damage you go over your biggest threshold. That's quite cool. I like that idea a lot. I think that's really, as I think JC Darcy said, and I think it's quite cool to see that, because it's taking a risk, right? And trying to cast these spells using this chaos going through you as a weak mortal flesh. Pretty badass. The fumble table was quite cool here. This idea of stacking effects if you roll a 1. that hurt you add a condition and then hurt everyone else. I like that. And crafting, I personally, not for me, but I suspect that because it's based on video games, perhaps that people would want to do that in some way. You can, if you've got the components, you're going to buy them or whatever. But it could be interesting. Maybe it's a different way of doing the check. But yeah, overall, I think it was okay. Like I said, the combat stuff always gets me, as I got seen in the chat about that. That was quite funny. I love a game that makes you think about moral. Agreed. Awesome. It's Parrot. Rot hard mode. Roll on hard mode, right? Is that what you're saying, Crafty Golfer? I will go for full Witcher next time. But thank you so much for joining me for this late night edition of Too Long Didn't Read. I will write it up quickly because I just got a message from my partner saying, where are you? I've not talked to you today, so I better get onto that. Let me get the big Fiona screen. So, if you've enjoyed that, let me put the link to the free. This is the thing that Quick Start is free, so you can get that on Drive-Thru RPG. It comes with those 6 pre-generated characters, so you don't even need to make characters, and a Quick Start adventure, which is pretty sound. Like I said, I didn't want to spoil it for you guys. But if you're like, Fiona, what else are you up to? Well, let me tell you, my friends. I run What Am I Rolling, which is it's a 20. It's a RPG one-shot podcast where every 2 weeks I put out usually actual plays, but recently we were doing more interview stuff just because I've not had time to edit or run any actual plays. An episode came out today featuring Taylor Navarro, who is an incredible game designer in the UK, and we talk about her cool romantic duet game called Not Yet, which if you've watched One Day recently, or read any of that idea of like almost period dramas, like right person, wrong time. That's the kind of vibe we're going for. It's really good. I also run the DM's Book Club, which is a weekly book club podcast where we talk about some Dungeons and Dragons and discuss how we might include them in our role-playing campaigns. That is going very well. We've got a couple other things in the pipeline. Another travel book club coming up, which will be good. Need to finish that. And yeah, if you fancy anything else, we've got our own little Discord. I'm doing all the things now. Discord, where you can come chat to us about RPGs, about any suggestions for this, because obviously the way we do these Too Long Didn't Read Tabletop RPGs is by rolling randomly, and I go to my little spreadsheet and go, God, this is a nightmare. What is this? But yeah, I'm glad we've done The Witcher. It was on my list for a little while, and it's one of those things. Would I run this for where? Possibly. I think the combat thing is what brings people into The Witcher, certainly if you've played The Witcher games. So I think that's something I'd have to focus on and just make sure that I understood all the rules for that. But I don't think there's anything necessarily that would put me off from not running it. And also there's some, makes me want to listen to the books perhaps, or watch the TV show. So anyway, much love to you all. Fantastic stuff. Thank you, Crafty Gobbler. Thank you. If I haven't got any other ones planned for this just yet. Too Long Didn't Read Tabletop RPGs. I'll have a look in the week to see if there's anything else I would do. But it might get, when we get closer to Easter, I might not be able to do as many, but we'll see. But much love. I hope you're doing well this Sunday. Don't work on too many spreadsheets, Crafty Go. I know what you like. Is there anything else I want to say? No, nothing else I want to say. I'm going to wave awkwardly at the screen. As I find the off-screen button. Have a wonderful rest of your Sunday, and I'll see you hopefully on the next Too Long Didn't Read Tabletop RPG stream. Bye!